A Chinese proverb says that a journey begins with but a single step. An Alaskan cruise begins with a cattle market, where passengers are corralled, documented and penned in their cabins. Once on board Norwegian Sun, a chance to look at the upper deck before the crowd arrives. Tugs stand by to manoeuvre the cruise ships from the dock. We were to see the cruise liner Veendam from the Holland America line many times on our journey. Float planes take off in the shipping lanes. They form an important transport link to the many small island communities cut off from the mainland. An idyllic setting with the inner sound and the Rockies in the distance. Lifeboat drill is an essential preliminary to the voyage. Our dockside companion manoeuvres alongside. The voyage began at Vancouver in southwest Canada. The route followed the inner sound for 500 miles to Ketchikan in southwest Alaska. Next stop, Juneau, the landlocked capital, followed by Skagway, a starting point for the gold rush in the 1890s. On the return voyage, the ship stopped at Wrangell before docking again at Vancouver. The suspension bridge connects the suburbs to Vancouver city centre. Other vessels wait to cruise the inner passage. Next morning, breakfast was served buffet style. Outside, the coast slipped by on a cloudy morning. Vega Vega is a small logging and fishing community with no road to the mainland. Norwegian Sun is equipped with radar, depth finder and satellite navigation systems to safely negotiate this narrow passage. Next morning at Ketchikan Pier, some vessels moored alongside. We had to cross by ship's tender to meet with Thunderbird. The great bird was honoured by the Indians. When he spreads his wings, the sky darkens. When he flaps his wings, the thunder rolls. Lightning crackles where he glances. Colas is his brother.
I'd like to welcome you all to the Tongass National Forest. This forest is 16.9 million acres. It's the largest national forest in the United States. It's a big, big place. It's part of the North American temperate rainforest. If you look up, you'll notice that the rainforest isn't working today. There are 3 temperate rainforests in the world. One is in New Zealand, one on the northern coast of Chile, and this one. This is the largest of the three, stretches all the way from Northern California up past Eureka, not San Francisco, all the way up past Juneau. It's a very large rainforest. This is about the wettest spot in it too. 162 inches of rain a year. Very wet place. The majority of the trees in this forest, in the Tongass National Forest, are western hemlock. These two right behind me are western hemlock. The way you identify a western hemlock, yeah, keep looking for that eagle. I can hear him, or her.
The eagle did not come close enough to film. These two birds are kept in Deer Mountain Eagle Center because they were both found too seriously injured to fly. The female has laid some eggs, but unfortunately all were sterile. The male is the smaller of the two. A short walk leads to the shore. The clan house has been reconstructed. It would have been the home of one family. The pillars supporting the main roof beams have been carved with human faces. A fire would have burned on the stone hearth for cooking and for warmth. This figure represents a young man whose father was killed by a giant whale which ate so much fish that the tribe was starving. He practiced for many years until he was skilled enough to fight and kill the whale. On his return, the clan made him chief of the tribe. The low door kept out drafts and was a form of defense. Above the door, the carving showed that people were from the clan of the Raven. The elder portrayed here holds a talking stick, which gave him authority to control discussions within the clan house. Thunderbird holds a killer whale which he has caught. Below sits Bear with his long claws. Totem poles could be very high. Bear is a mother who cradles a child between her legs. Here she cradles a bear cub. This pole commemorates a potlatch, where one tribe gave to another all their possessions. Raven sits above Fog Woman, who holds two salmon which she has charmed from the water. She lived with a member of the tribe and bore him two daughters, which are portrayed below. A flat fish with eyes on the side of its head. At Deer Mountain Tribal Hatchery, water is diverted through this fish ladder to tempt the salmon which swim upstream. The salmon collect in holding tanks. Eggs and sperm are taken from the mature salmon and the fertilized eggs are incubated in trays. Unfortunately, visitors cannot enter the sterile area, but some trays are put on view. Young fish are reared in these tanks. The hatchery has a 98% success rate, releasing 150,000 king salmon each year. These young Pacific salmon are nearly ready to be released into the river to increase the natural fish stock. At Ketchikan Creek, houses were built on wooden piles because of a shortage of level ground along the shoreline. This was the centre of what we now call the sex industry, where men and fish went up the creek to spawn. Dolly Arthur was a very successful madam, whose house is the only brothel open to non-clients in the USA. The many children resulting from these casual liaisons were known as brothel sprouts. Next day, Norwegian Sun made her way north to Tracy Ann Fjord, leading to the Sawyer Glacier. There was a long wait until the P&O liner cleared the narrow entry to the Glacier Bay. This was the widest glacier we were to see on the cruise. The ship's inflatable launched to take photographs of Norwegian Sun and the Sawyer Glacier in the background. As the light began to fade, Norwegian Sun turned and made her way back along the sound. We left our balcony and thought about dinner. In the evening, a formal reception to meet Captain Trygve Vorren. The hostess put guests at their ease. People wandered around, seeking a glass of champagne and a familiar face in the crowd. The photographer was hard at work, and, of course, we had to have our photograph taken. Our hostess had her work cut out, keeping a clear view as the captain welcomed guests on board. The restaurant awaited diners. We enjoyed a pleasant meal with companions from Ireland and America as the waters of the Inner Sound drifted past.
The internet is becoming so important.
Tomorrow we would arrive at Juneau, the capital of Alaska.